Carson for Card Player TV, here with the champion of the World Series of Poker PLO 8 or better event. It was the largest field ever for a tournament of this kind. The champion was Martin Klaser. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So tell me about the tournament. How did you get, do you play a lot of PLO 8 or better?
I just started playing PLO 8 or better like half a year, 3/4 years ago.
What brought you into the game?
So it actually was PLO, so I play a lot of PLO.
That's common in Europe now, right?
Actually it is, yeah. So it's more common than here. So here a lot of limit games are played. So Omaha limit is played even more often here than Europe. So the pot limit games dominate the structure. Yeah.
Well, I know you're a student in chemical engineering. What brought you into poker?
Actually, I was dealing cards to finance my studies.
Pay your way through school.
Oh yeah, and and the expenses I had.
Oh, of course.
So I was not the let's say, what's the term if you are not that
studious?
Yeah.
You weren't focused on school too much.
I didn't really. So I got my way through, but it was really boring, and I started to realize that poker was more the thing I wanted to do. So I dealt cards for 2 years in a local company. Yeah, and that's where I started to get into poker.
But when you first started playing poker, was it mostly PLO?
No, I actually...
Oh, that was just 6 months ago?
Yeah, that was... No, I started playing PLO like 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
So shortly after I learned how to play a no-limit hold'em.
Okay.
And yeah, so a couple of friends just said, hey, look at this game, that looks really, really funny, and I just thought, hey, okay, let's try it, and I like it very much.
So did anything you learned in school help you to become a better poker player?
No, not really. Perhaps a bit of math, but I'm actually... No, I don't think so.
All right, well, tell me a little bit about this tournament. How did it begin for you?
I actually there was no time I was all in. There was no time I had to fear for my turn.
This was your tournament?
That was all my tournament. I started off with winning big pots, getting good cards.
Playing well, I'm sure.
Yeah, a couple. So I outplayed. In the first table, I was sitting with the cowboy guy. I can't remember his name.
Hoy Corkins?
No, it was the one with the ranch.
Amarillo Slim?
So he was sitting at my final table.
How old was he?
His name is Smith, I think.
Smith?
Yeah.
Gavin Smith? He's not a cowboy, though.
Oh, okay. So there was a cowboy guy.
A cowboy guy.
Actually.
We're in Vegas. There's cowboys there.
Yeah, a lot of cowboys there. And I started off the day one with him to my right, and I outplayed him very well. But he played very well.
Okay.
As well. So, we made a kind of friendship thing. It was a very funny table. He fooled around. So once I just said, "Oh, are you doing a tilt play?" He started to provoke me, and I was kind of stunned and didn't know what was going on, and then he just started smiling, and he just faked, and it was a funny table.
Do you think you give off tells when you're chatting it up with the other players, or how do you avoid that?
No, I don't. I think I can talk people into pots quite well as well. That's as I said, I talk a lot. So there are situations I don't talk a lot at the table. So when I started playing the final table, I was really calm. I tried to figure out who's playing more aggressive, who's playing the tight guy. So Eric Seidel is a very tight player. So
and he was going for bracelet number 9. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal, and I thought so. He was the most dangerous, most solid, most dangerous player at the table. And actually, my play just started when Seidel went off the table. So in
4th place.
Yeah, so I started raising really, really loose when Eric left the table because he had the perfect stack to get me in trouble.
That makes sense.
And so he is so good that he can do it with any kind of cards. So he probably can read me even when I have my sunglasses on. And
so you looked at him as your biggest threat at that final
table?
Yeah,
of course. So he was sitting in position to me. He was the biggest threat on the table, yeah. Definitely.
Well, tell me about the heads-up battle with Casey Castle. He's also a seasoned pro. I know you won 15 out of 20 hands, though. So
yeah, so I had a couple good hands, but actually Casey he just played bad. So he should have just...
What did he do wrong?
He should have just reshoved me. So
just too passive?
Yeah. So I raised. So when he completed I was really sure he had like a hand he wanted to see the flop with, and the pros don't like it if so that the internet guys, so like me, are potting before the flop, so they can't outplay me on the flop,
Right.
and they don't know their hand strengths. They can't figure it out really, so that's a problem they have. So they do a very big play on the flop, so you can see that on one hand where he wins a huge pot against the third finisher. Excuse
God bless
me.
you. No problem.
So he outplays him very well on a low draw board. He has top 2 pair, and he does it very well. Yeah, and actually I had the chips to force him into this passive state.
It was just the perfect situation for you.
Yeah. So when I got to the final table, to the heads up, I was pretty sure I was going to win because I had like 2.5 times his chips. Yeah, and I picked up a couple hands. So and I luckily folded 2 of my hands into his monster hands, and yeah, I think that crushed him just mentally. And
yeah, it's almost as bad as losing with a good hand is not winning with a good hand.
yeah, right.
It's
so he can't even play it.
Yeah.
You know, he's just looking at his cards
And you
thinks, yeah, and then I muck it.
That is discouraging, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now that you've won a World Series poker bracelet, are you going to become a full-time poker professional? Are you going back to chemical engineering?
Definitely not. I don't think so. So it actually bored me. And yeah,
I could understand that.
Poker is for everybody. Yeah, of course.
Well, congratulations, Martin. Thanks for stopping by to talk to me.
Thank you very much.
Louie Harrison with Martin Klaser for Card Player TV.